Welcome, everyone, to the Intune Tech Accelerator event for the Intune Suite. We're delighted you're here, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to come join us. I'm joined today by Dilip Radhakrishnan, who's a Partner Group Program Manager for Management, Ramya Chitrakar, VP for Engineering for Management, and Jason Roszak, our Chief Product Officer for Management.
Steve, thanks for bringing us all together. And I'm Dave Randall, a Senior Product Manager on Steve's team, and I'll be your host today. So let me kick off the discussion and start with a question for you, Steve. Can you share with us a little bit of the evolution of unified endpoint management space and where it's headed?
You know, the UEM space has been developing for a long time, really back through the 90s with SMS Server. And Microsoft has been in this business for decades now. And over that time, you know, we've now grown our footprint and are managing over 190 million endpoints, Windows endpoints, not to mention many others as well. And in that period of time, we've seen an extraordinary growth of, flexibility and completeness in the product. And that has led us into an interesting spot here where we are going to talk about the launch of the Intune Suite, which is the next evolution of development and growth for the Intune product. And we're going to talk about the future of how AI and analytics weighs into that as well.
Thanks, Steve. Dilip, I know that, as Steve said, we recently launched the Intune Suite back on March 1st. And I know that you've been instrumental in bringing all of this together. So can you please share with us a little bit of the vision behind the product and how Intune Suite features are bringing new value to our customers?
Thanks, Dave. In this current global economy, our customers are asked to do more with less, right? They have too many tools for IT and security management that solve specific problems, but they don't work well with each other. So this is causing a lot of inefficiencies where they have to switch multiple consoles, they have to deploy multiple agents, and there is a very clear need they express to us that they need to consolidate this. So to do that, we built the Intune Suite. It has three main goals. Number one, we want to reduce cost and improve operational efficiency. With Intune Suite, you can consolidate at least 6 different products. So instead of your IT teams having to stitch this together, with Intune Suite, you get out of the box a single pane of glass for IT management. The second thing we do is we also increase your security posture on your endpoint, right? So today, instead of having separate tools to do things like your privilege management, where you can just in time elevate your privilege and then run your users as standard users, not admins, right? So those are the types of solutions. We keep your applications patched and up to date. We have a micro VPN solution that enables you to have a tunnel from your personal devices to your on-prem line of business apps. So those are all great features that help our customers increase their security posture. Last but not least, we also help improve the end user experience. We offer rich analytics, so it enables scenarios like anomaly detection, which can help your end users remediate issues even before they become a help desk ticket. So those are some of the ways we feel like we can help our customers improve security, reduce cost, and increase their end user experience.
Thanks, Dilip. Ramya, I know your engineering team have done a phenomenal job with the suite. Congratulations to your team and having delivered on the March launch. But I know that there's some more coming. Can you give everyone some insight into what they can expect going forward in relation to the Intune Suite?
Certainly, Dave. There's a lot of exciting work underway, and I'll speak about a few of the key upcoming capabilities that are very exciting for us, and I'm sure will excite our customers. First is the advanced app management capabilities we are introducing, wherein we're going to have a catalog of third-party applications all integrated into one application's experience within Intune, which they can then use to deploy and manage all via one management solution. Now, we would also prompt when updates are available, so we're taking away the burden from IT admins to source, to maintain, to update these apps themselves. Now, this is a huge capability add for our customers and their app management needs, where their end users have a broad variety of applications, and it's up to them to maintain the life cycle and do so in a secure way. Now, The next one I'm super excited about, which is the wave of innovation with analytics, AI, and ChatGPT. And analytics, by the way, has been a huge value add for our customers. We are especially well positioned given the Microsoft 365 data that we have access to and processing that data to create insights for our IT admins. Now, with the advent of ChatGPT, there is so much more we can do with generative AI and in turn provide intelligent assistance to IT admins to do their jobs and do it more efficiently and unlock capabilities they could never before. Now, we are heavily innovating in this space. We are really excited about the capabilities we can bring to both the end users and the IT admins. The possibilities here are really endless. Now, the last but not the least is I'd like to comment about a capability we are building with Cloud PKI. PKI is public key infrastructure, which is often used by organizations to improve security by moving towards a more passwordless world. Now, it can be used for things like seamless authentication to access resources such as applications, VPN, Wi-Fi, etc. And now, building out and maintaining this on-premise infrastructure is challenging to say the least. You have to follow all the security best practices. You have to have high availability. You need to follow disaster recovery guidelines. And all of this is both costly and overwhelming. With Intune Suite's Cloud PKI, we are going to do all the heavy lifting for you and all from the cloud and integrated with the Intune Cert lifecycle management. Again, it's a huge win for IT efficiency along with great security value. So those are some of the main ones, and we have a lot more coming underway in addition to the value we are providing today with the suite.
All right. So, Jason, I heard Ramya say ChatGPT, and I know that that's a huge buzzword, both inside Microsoft as well as outside in the IT world. Can you talk a little bit about what our focus is for AI and ML?
One of the biggest challenges with management historically has been that it's super process oriented. It's very manual. It's difficult to find data. It's difficult to understand what's happening troubleshooting wise, and it's difficult to really get your users the help that they need. So one of the things we're most excited about with AI is we have all of this incredibly rich data in Intune. What if we could start to leverage the capability of AI to help you more easily understand what's happening in your environment? So we think there's just a world of possibilities using the rich context that Intune has to help IT folks do more inside their estate. So we'll start this journey with Endpoint Analytics. So if you guys aren't aware, we've got about 70 million users on Endpoint Analytics today and growing. As part of the Intune Suite, we just introduced anomaly detection. This is one of our first kind of forays into ML and AI, if you will. With anomaly detection, you can kind of start to use it as an early warning system. So you can imagine patterns start to arise, look like anomalies are happening in your environment. You can leverage Endpoint Analytics and this anomaly detection to help you root out these issues before they get to your help desk. So it's really the next evolution in us kind of transforming management from being reactive to proactive in nature.
That's fantastic. That's super exciting. Thanks, Jason. So, Steve, I've got a question for you. One of the key areas that we focused on with the Intune Suite is end user productivity. And one of the areas that's received a lot of attention is Windows 365. Can you share a little bit more about how Windows 365 is a key part of employee productivity and maybe touch on its place in zero trust planning?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So since Windows 365 launched last year, it has just taken the IT world by storm. It really provides a new kind of service, not just a virtual desktop, but really a cloud PC that is deployed and managed just like your physical PCs, right next to your physical PCs in Intune. And because of that, the sort of scenarios are basically limitless where you might deploy these things. So, for example, they allow users to have a consistent PC environment that they can access from a number of different devices in the office, at home, even mobile, from any platform. They allow IT to control the applications that are there and the exact experience that the end user will get with a lot of with the same tooling that they're already used to, but with a lot of control. We've seen some organizations use this as a BYOD solution in order to give end users access to a cloud PC from a personally owned device in order to maintain security and compliance boundaries and so on. And that actually brings me to what you mentioned, Dave, which is zero trust. So most of our organizations are deploying zero trust in one way or the other. That's really become kind of the dominant security paradigm out there. And Windows 365 supports zero trust because it really uses exactly the same zero trust policies that any of your other devices would use. You deploy Windows 365 with strong authentication, strong device management policies, and you get a fully managed device that's protected and compliant with all of your policies. Really in a turnkey way. You can then report on that through your standard tooling, including Intune and past compliance regimes and so on, all in a way that's still a very familiar and simple experience for your end users. So Windows 365 has just been an incredible launch over the last year, and we're excited to see where that goes.
Thanks, Steve. I know there's a ton of interest around it. And speaking of interest, Ramya, if I go back to you, we've seen a huge amount of interest in endpoint privilege management. Can you walk us through some of the high-level capabilities and maybe share a bit of your customer conversations around the features?
Sure thing, Dave. First, let's start with the first part of the question, which is the capabilities that endpoint privilege management provides. Now, what it is, it's giving you seamless elevation management with the goal to enable standard users across your estate. Now, running as administrative user poses a big security risk. It is one of the largest attack surfaces that companies face. But we also don't want to get in the way of user productivity. And the seamless aspect that EPM provides, that is the key differentiator. Now, we want to do all of this while keeping the help desk costs too under check and getting this great security benefit. In addition to all of this, by the way, EPM provides a rich set of insights for user experiences that require elevation. And administrators can gather this intelligence proactively before removing the administrative rights from their entire estate. Now, there are key differentiators here to call out. One is lowering the admin overhead using the built-in Intune architecture. What this means is you have no additional clients to deploy. You have no additional services to manage. And this is a huge win for the seamless integration that we can provide through Intune. Then there is the rich reporting and insights that I was just mentioning, and we are going to go ahead and build more with our threat intelligence capabilities going forward. And last but not the least, which is huge, is the integration that comes with the M365 management plane, which is a huge value add over and above the value that EPM is providing. Now, talking about customers, I'll start with our very first customer. Our first ring goes to the Microsoft's own IT, who are eagerly trying it out and they are deploying it. And this is going to be a huge increase to our security posture within the company. Now, we've spoken to a lot of customers over the last few years, and this was a huge ask and interest for the suite overall. And over the course of the private previews, we are seeing a ton of positive feedback from these customers, and we have a lot of customers that have onboarded already. I highly encourage you to try it out. The public preview is going out in March, and let us know what you think about it.
Thanks, Ramya. I actually want to take a little bit of a shift from the end user productivity, which is great with EPM, but I want to focus on a few administrative features for the suite. So first off, for our help desk agents, we previously launched remote help, but we have some great updates. So can you share with everyone some insights about how we're helping our admins and specifically our help desk operators and escalation engineers?
Certainly. Let's start with the remote help that we released last year, and the customers have given us tremendously positive feedback on their usage of remote help. They love the user interface, Dave, and how it helps their help desk quickly resolve issues. Now, we've made a bunch of additions with a mix of both usability and security enhancements over the course of the last few months. Some examples are a laser pointer to make it easier to show the user what is happening. And then for additional security, we've added audit logs so you know who helped whom and when, and this could be exported to log analytics. We are also going to add the capability to have conditional access to enforce things such as MFA or even block access if the helper or the sharer's device is non-compliant. Now, we had great feedback also about features that customers would like us to add. Things like full feature chat, copy and paste, file transfer, and more features such as unattended, which are coming soon.
That's awesome. So I've actually got a second related follow-up question for you, Jason, around help desk. So we also announced the ServiceNow integration with the suite. Can you share a little bit about how it aligns with the support agent roles and how you see customer value now as well as going forward?
Sure. So it's kind of interesting, Dave. IT is a bit unique in that it sits in this interesting intersection between the IT team, the security team, and the help desk team. And Ramya and Steve, we've kind of discussed a little bit how we're working to help organizations lower help desk costs. But as part of that, we don't want to just look at the experience the IT pro has at Intune. We also want to look at the experience that the help desk professional would have inside ServiceNow. So if you look at a typical organization, you'll see the tier one help desk kind of works out of ServiceNow. That's their tool. That's where they spend the majority of their time. While the tier two and tier three help desk agent, they'll typically work inside Intune. Well, it's interesting because more often than not, the tier one help desk doesn't have access to Intune. So a lot of the requests that we get from folks is for a way to help empower the tier one tech that lives inside of ServiceNow to get context into what's happening inside Intune. So this integration is going to do a couple of things. The first thing it does is it allows us to expose the data inside Intune about the device, about the management experience, be it hardware asset information, be it application inventory information. We can expose that data directly in the ServiceNow portal for that tier one agent to help them troubleshoot more efficiently. And then if we run into a scenario where the tier one agent needs to escalate to tier two or tier three, we've also taken the data from ServiceNow, the history of tickets, all of the trends of tickets for an organization, or the history of tickets associated with a specific user, and we've pulled that data directly into Intune. So now if the tier two, tier three tech needs to pick up the ticket and start running with it, they've got that data directly from ServiceNow, the full history, the trends inside the Intune portal to help them more efficiently troubleshoot it. So again, you'll see these things work together, be it the remote help, the endpoint analytics, the ServiceNow integration, really trying to drive and help you lower help desk costs just as a kind of a major product theme that we're focused on.
That's excellent. Looking forward to what we've got coming in the ServiceNow world as well.
I believe, Mr. Randall, you were our PM for that one.
Yeah, guilty as charged. So Dilip, we've got another new interesting security feature in the suite, and I know that your team are responsible for many of those security related features in Intune. So talk a little bit about one of the more challenging aspects of IT. I think Ramya hit on it briefly, but certificate management. Talk about how the Intune Suite helps our IT admins' lives get just a little bit easier.
Yeah, sure. So every device that's connecting to a secure corporate network for VPN or Wi-Fi access needs a certificate. While the scenario looks simple, behind the scenes, there's a very complicated PKI, public key infrastructure needed to support this scenario. So most of our customers worldwide use the Microsoft Certificate Server and our SCEP protocol or PKCS to issue these certificates. So while all the on-prem workloads today, like Exchange Server became Exchange Online, SharePoint Server became SharePoint Online and OneDrive, even SCCM customers are moving to Intune in the cloud. So customers who are on this cloud journey with us have asked us to move this certificate workload to the cloud. So that's what we're exactly doing. With this new feature in Intune Suite, we are removing the need for customers to set up an on-prem PKI infrastructure just for devices to enroll and get certificates. So with this feature, as soon as devices enroll into Intune, you can have it issue certificates directly from the cloud without needing any on-prem infrastructure.
That's fantastic. I know that they're going to love this. So let me go back to you, Steve. We have a lot of customers who leverage MAM. And I know that the Intune Suite has some great new capabilities, MAM Tunnel and multi-account MAM. Can you give us a quick refresher on this MAM-only value and how these features will come into play?
Sure, absolutely. So mobile application management is maybe our highest adopted workload across the cloud native Intune suite. It's very, very common, especially among our largest and our highest security customers. it creates a nice, clean boundary between personal versus work. And so people use it often for bring your own device deployments and lots of other scenarios. And so, in the process, we've had requests over the years to kind of continue to add capabilities there. And a couple that are coming here are pretty important. The first one is MAM tunnel. So most organizations of any size still have legacy line of business applications that are running on premises. And for fully managed devices, we launched a couple of years ago our MDM tunnel that allows sort of a device-wide VPN back into the corporate network for those legacy applications. And now with the launch of the Intune Suite, we're launching MAM tunnel, which allows kind of a micro VPN directly from the managed application on the user's device into the corporate network in the line of business app. The idea there is we can create just a tiny little VPN tunnel only to the managed application without impacting the rest of that user's device, and yet give IT and security the capabilities to really make sure that that application is locked down and secured and compliant before allowing access into the line of business app inside the company. So this is going to be huge for organizations that are deploying a lot of MAM and have a lot of legacy IT. We've seen big interest in that already. Another capability that we're adding to MAM is for multiple managed accounts. Now, some of you may have noticed that our MAM solution today only allows a single managed account on the endpoint. What that means is that you can sign in as a Contoso user, but then if you also try to sign into the same app as a Fabricam user, you won't be allowed to because you'll only be allowed that first Contoso managed account. And the good news is we're about to remove that limitation. We're doing lots of work to make those applications flex between managed accounts. So if you're the kind of person that, say, is a consultant that works at more than one organization, or if you have a large multi-tenant organization where you have accounts in more than one tenant, you'll be able to sign into both of those organizations or even more from the same endpoint. So both of those are incredibly important features. They've both been asked for a lot by our MAM customers and can't wait to bring those out.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Steve. So Jason, coupled with remote help, one area that's been a big request is application updates and patching. I know our customers have oftentimes siloed teams between security and IT operations, which can slow down security responses. Can you talk a little bit about the problem space and what we're doing in the Intune Suite to help our customers address app updates from the security perspective?
Sure, Dave. And, it's kind of interesting. Since I joined the Intune team, I have to say if there's one question that I get asked the most, it's really about how to overcome the challenges associated with Windows apps in the cloud. It's one of the biggest reasons I see people staying with SCCM on premise. It's one of the biggest cost contributors dealing with packaging apps, keeping them up to date, deploying them to users. There's got to be a better way. So a lot of what we focused on with the automated app patch management solution is really helping organizations simplify how they manage these applications. So a couple of scenarios. If you think about the process today to get an application to Intune or SCCM to deployment, it's pretty cumbersome. An IT pro searches the internet, they find the latest version of an application, they download it, they package it, they upload it to the management tool, they assign it, they distribute it out. That package is super clunky because you're downloading, you're packaging, it comes with a lot of overhead. So one of the things we're doing with the automated app patch management is helping you with discovery and package. So inside the Intune portal, you're going to get a curated repository of, I think, 7,000 applications directly inside Intune. So if you want to deploy the latest version of Adobe or the latest version of, Balsamiq, pick your favorite app, you'll simply see a checkbox in Intune, pick the app you want, and go deploy it. The other thing we're doing as part of it, when you select an app from this kind of curated experience that Ramya talked about earlier, you don't have to package the app. We've already done it for you, whether it's an XE, an MSI, all the packaging happens on our backend. So if you want to go modify the install params for a script associated with the app, you can, but you don't have to. And then we run automation testing against all of these apps to make sure they actually install. So there's a level of validation that happens on the back end, be it for the installation success or the AV scanning that we do. So the first piece is really focused on giving you a trusted place where you can go download these apps. So you're not searching some malicious repository and downloading a binary by accident that you distribute to all your users. The second big piece comes around updating. And I think this is probably the piece where I see people struggle the most. The process that we see today is typically security team will scan a device or scan a fleet of devices. They'll create a spreadsheet, if you will, hand it off to the IT team and say, hey, IT team, here's a whole bunch of vulnerabilities. You got an SLA to go remediate it. That's not very efficient for teams' time. So one of the things we're doing with this solution is building what we're kind of loosely calling an evergreen apps approach. So when you choose one of these applications inside Intune, you'll get an option that lets you keep the app up to date. So if you choose this evergreen approach, as we've described it, you could simply select that the app updates. And as soon as a new version comes out, we go do our validation and we deploy it to all your users. So again, you're not downloading packaging. You're not trying to discover, oh, wait, there's a new version of Adobe out there that I've got to deploy. We handle all of that for you. The way the solution works, the metadata feed that we have in the back of Intune will get alerted as soon as a new version comes out. So when these publishers publish a new version, we're always scanning. And as soon as that update becomes available, it's now in Intune. And if you've selected this auto deploy option, we go out and keep your app estate up to date. So we think there's a lot of time savings with the packaging, the discovery, but also we think it's going to help you tremendously security wise. You're not downloading apps from malicious sites. And most importantly, you can stay current. I mean, this is a modern approach to keep your Win32 apps current inside your estate. So we think this is a big one. We also think it's going to be really crucial for customers moving to cloud native as giving them a better way to overcome some of those challenges of Win32 apps directly from the cloud.
All right. We've covered a ton of ground, and through the rest of this particular Tech Accelerator, you'll have the opportunity to get a deep dive on all of the different subjects that we've covered here in the keynote. So let me just ask Jason, if you would, please wrap it up and provide folks with a summary and a call to action.
Sure. So Dave, when you think about Intune Suite, you should think about three things. One, we want to simplify. The amount of tools that organizations have today, it creates complexity, it introduces security risk, and it creates overhead for the organization. Two, we want to help you strengthen security through native technologies. You heard Ramya talk about endpoint privilege management and how we can natively inside Windows with Intune create a much better security model by removing administrator permissions. And three, we want to help you cut costs. I mean, let's face it, the macroeconomic situation is not getting any better. And we think there's an opportunity for you to really evaluate how you can start to do more with the Intune tool. So as Dave mentioned, we've got a bunch of great sessions that'll go deeper into the capabilities of the Intune Suite. Please, if you haven't already, sign up and register for those. We're also going to be at RSA and MMS this year. So come chase us down. Let's talk in person. Let's chat. We'd love the opportunity to learn more about what's top of mind for you. And finally, really talk to your account executive and understand the benefits of Intune Suite today and how it can help you.
That's awesome, Jason. I know that customers are really going to love that feature. So thanks for the deep dive on that. And thank you for our call to action. I'd like to go around. Ramya, Steve, Dilip, do you have anything else that you'd like to add as final words before we sign off?
Yeah. In addition to what Jason covered, if you have a chance to go and download the trial, if you've not tried any of these products, definitely encourage you to participate in the public preview and give us feedback, because we are really shaping this product based on what customers have been asking us for.
I'll plus one what Dilip said. I think that we have ever been customer first, and getting your feedback, getting your input, and making us deliver these things with most value to you. That would be awesome. So please do try it out and let us know what you feel and give us your feedback.
And for me, I'll just add two things. First of all, plus one in Ramya and Dilip. You don't have to upgrade your entire infrastructure just to try out one of these Intune Suite solutions. Just go deploy something. You'll be meaningfully, more secure and more productive pretty quickly. And we'd love to have your feedback. But more than that, as Jason said earlier, there's never been a more exciting time here at Intune. Everything from the capabilities we're adding to Intune Suite to the big investments we're making in AI and analytics. It's just going to be an incredible, year and coming years here as we innovate. And we're really just grateful to have you along for the trip here. Please go to the sessions, give us feedback. We need that feedback to build the best product. And thanks for your partnership.
Thanks so much. And from all of us, we'd like to wish you a happy rest of the day wherever you are in the world. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.